Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker up on TSN 4. Brian Hayes, Jamie Noodles, McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on? What a weekend. What
is
a weekend we just had.
Well, I mean, where do you want to start? Like, that's the crazy part. Like, you and I were chatting a little bit this afternoon, and I was like, we have so much to talk about. I mean, obviously, I think number one, we know what number one is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, where are you at with that? They had an unbelievable weekend because the Yankees weren't losing either.
No, that's the amazing thing. I think that's what listen, you win the American League East, it's incredible. You win your division, period. In any sport, it's amazing. If you win it running away, there's like a muted celebration that comes with this, right? Because it's a matter of fact. Like I think the example you could use with the Jays is when they clinched the playoffs, people were not, dancing in the streets because, of course, you made the playoffs.
Right.
Like, we've known about that for a long time. But when it's uncertain exactly how it's going to play out, or it starts to get dicey, and you start to have some dark thoughts, it makes it pop so much more. Yes. And I think that's what we experienced yesterday. I think if you're a Blue Jay fan, and I said this on Friday and at different times last week, there was not a Blue Jay fan on earth that was not getting concerned about where this was going because the Yankees were not going to stop losing or stop winning.
Yeah.
Like, the Yankees won 8 in a row. They won 11 of their last 12. That's a machine. Full credit to the Yankees. They finished with the same record as the Blue Jays.
Right.
So, unbelievable record for the Yankees. Unbelievable pace down the stretch. Yes, they had a soft schedule, but they still won.
Right.
So, the fact that the Jays, after falling off the wagon a little bit in Kansas City early against Boston, runs off 4 straight wins, and yesterday does it in style, just makes it that much more of like an exhaling relief. Yeah. And just that much more of a party.
Well, I mean, where on your bingo card was Alejandro Kirk nailing a grand slam
in the first inning?
Exactly. Like, they're down 1-0, and Gausman didn't have his stuff, and I was like, oh, my God, they're going to lose today. Mm-hmm. Gausman, their ace, who usually has been dominant, you could see he was fighting it right away, and I was like, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Down 1-0, chasing it, and the little guy goes up to the plate and knocks one to the moon. I was like, oh, like now I knew they were going to win. That makes it 5-1.
Yes.
They made it a little bit interesting at 6-4?
Yeah, I think it was 5-4 at one point.
5-4, sorry, 5-4, bases loaded. But I'm like, okay, Vladdy, Springer, Varsho, we've seen this. Kirk wasn't on my bingo card.
Well, not for a grand slam in the first. That's his first career grand slam.
Yes.
And you had the Varsho grand slam against Boston. Yep. And then this grand slam, like, those are 2 hits people are never going to forget. Like, big moments in a regular season do get lost in the shuffle. Like, there are certain moments you kind of always will remember. With certain teams, you'll always remember if they made the playoffs for the first time in a long time or won the division for the first time in a long time, which just happened. But I think there's something about a grand slam and the fact that it was so desperate and it was so needed and necessary. Yeah. But for him to also step up and hit another home run later in the game and then curtain call and get up there and actually do it, start blowing kisses to the crowd.
Yes.
Which I don't recall seeing before. Like, I've seen curtain calls. I don't remember a guy coming, top step and blowing kisses to people, which is incredible.
I think he didn't know what to do, but I also do believe like he had spotted his family or something. Because I don't know if you saw the celebration on the look at the we're watching it on the
kisses
screen.
For everyone.
But like,
I love it.
On the field after the game, on the celebration, I swear, did you see his dad? Like, it had to have been his dad because it was a spitting image, same size, same face, same everything. I'm like, That's his dad in a Hawaiian shirt right beside him, and it was unbelievable. But to do it, that type of theater, The building's packed. You could tell there was a little bit of nervous energy, but they did it early and they stuck with it. The pitching held up.
It was awesome.
It was just
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome party, and credit to the Blue Jays. And I have a list for you that I'm going to get to this hour.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out how to label this list because I don't want to say this is a 5-pack of players or people within the organization that deserve an apology. I think an apology is strong because I think, again, the emotions that were hovering around this team this time last year were 100% justified.
Yeah.
I don't love the terminology like get your flowers, but it might land. It might land, but I need to find a way to label this properly. But basically, I got five guys within the organization that I think are puffing their chest out today and I think deserve adulation and deserve some attention compared to where they were coming into this season. So we'll get to that a little bit later this hour. But, yeah, the party was amazing. I thought John Schneider handled it really, really well. Incredibly impressive with John Schneider and the way – listen, he said what he had to say after they lost, all those games against Kansas City and against the Red Sox. And, he said the sky has not fallen. We're still leading the American League East. As of right now, we're ahead of the Yankees. Yeah. We just got to come here, show up to work, take care of business, play the way we're capable of playing. I'm speaking in, I'm not saying I'm on the team. I'm speaking as if I'm John Schneider. And I thought he handled that incredibly well. And I think that kind of calm presence and sense of belief in the team, which he's clearly had all year, really works. And I thought, Keegan Matheson, our boy Keegan, had a great tweet last night that I think kind of personified that he said back in spring training, he was sitting there, just kind of a private moment, him and John Schneider talking about whatever they're talking about. And Schneider, leaned into him and said, quote, "I've quietly got a really good effing feeling about this team. Seriously," end quote. And that, again, everyone feels good in the spring. Everyone feels good in training camp and spring training, but that obviously was sincere. And it played out throughout the whole season. So full credit to John Schneider and Alejandro Kirk and Springer and everyone, because it was incredible. And if you're a Blue Jay fan, again, doesn't happen often. 7th time in franchise history. They've been around for almost 50 years. This is the 7th time they've won the division.
Well, and the poise that Schneider showed. A lot of times if you see a coach, a manager, you name it, back there panicking or the way that they handle themselves in public, if you can tell that they're not confident, it seeps into the room. It seeps into the clubhouse. And the players, they played with poise. Yeah, it wasn't a great little stretch there. That's why they let the Yankees back into it, technically, because they were gone. They were in the driver's seat. We joked about that term, right? Driver's seat, no problem, still in the driver's seat, all of that. In the end, they won. Doesn't matter how you achieved it, because it's a long season. You've got to play 162 to get it done. Would they have liked to wrap it up earlier so that Gosman probably would have had the day off early? Yeah, no problem, but they don't play till Saturday.
Now you got a week. Yeah, exactly. You got a lot of time now.
Yeah, relax and enjoy it. Bask in it. You earned it. And you earned it, too, without Bo.
Right.
I don't know, you term it, too. Was this Vladdy's best, or Vladdy was spot duty?
No. No, Vladdy was not overly helpful. He had an RBI in the first inning, but this was not Vladdy saying, "Boys, I got
nice.
you." No,
I'm
you're
trying
right.
to be nice.
I think it speaks to how kind of, in a way, I don't like calling it a miraculous season is insulting,
right.
But a surprising season, and the details that went into the season,
right,
were certainly not predictable. Because yes, down the stretch, This was not Vladdy throwing them on his back and dragging them home. That did not happen. Just at no point in the last 3 weeks has Vladdy really factored in significantly to this team. Defensively, he's been good. He's shown up to the park every single day. I think he's brought leadership in terms of, I'm sure, in the clubhouse, the dugout, his approach, his work ethic. There's so many different details that go into a winning program. You can speak to it.
Yep.
It's not all just what are you doing when you're in the batter's box. But in terms of his statistics the last few weeks, they're awful. I mean, there's no way to downplay it. They're awful, yet they still gave him this opportunity to reset now and come out flying next week.
Yes.
And with Bichette injured for the last 3 weeks of the year, that's, again, what makes it pretty amazing, yet somewhat predictable because of the way the whole year's played out.
Right.
It just, of course, it's Kirk hitting a grand slam. Of course, it's, Barger had been terrible and he had a big hit yesterday. Of course, it's Eric Lauer coming in to close the game, albeit, they had a 9-run buffer, but still, right. Eric Lauer is coming out to finish off the game in the 9th inning. It just, everything they needed this year worked. Where, when you see the Dodgers get in, you're like, of course, they got all that talent and all that payroll. And if the Yankees get in, they're always seemingly getting in. The Jays don't always seem to get the breaks. And they got them this year, and they earned them. And they went out there and
tarps off.
And exactly, and had a party. and now you can party. Like the wild card party or just punching a ticket party is one thing. Winning the American League East at home, that's a party, man.
Sure.
Like that's a party they had yesterday.
Go enjoy yourself. One thing on Vladdy before we put that to bed, I don't know if his defense is shined a light on enough. Like he had a throw to home. That was, I believe, a tying run.
Yes, you're right. A couple of weeks ago, brilliant play.
Right. Like he's had so many opportunities or, so many little plays where, defensively he's done a great job. And that may have taken a little bit off of him not cracking 36 this year type of thing because of his rounded game. So I do say that. More of a team game from Vladdy. But looking at that group, they do look like a team. When you look at baseball, and I've been around a lot of major league players, and, when I played in St. Louis, we were close with the Cardinals and that. Like, it's a very individualistic sport, even though you play as a team.
Yep.
They look like they enjoy their company. They look like they, are on some, form of a mission here, and that was step one. Now you got a little bit of here to try and get healthy and to see what happens, in the wild card.
And who are you going to play? Is it Yankees or Red Sox, which is incredible. The fact that those two teams, like that sets up to obviously be an amazing wild card series.
Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have just for the sake of having it?
I think the immediate answer is the Red Sox, but they scare me with Crochet. They scare me with Crochet. Now, he'll pitch in the wild card, so I don't know if he'll pitch twice in the DS. You may only face him once in the divisional series. So can you survive that? Yes. The thing is, the Yankees, and here's where Vladdy comes back into play. He loves playing at Yankee Stadium, and the Jays have played the Yankees very well, and they played them very well at Yankee Stadium. And yes, the Yankees have Max Fried, but the Jays have hit him very well the last couple of times they played him.
Yep.
Crochet scares me more than Fried. And Fried's in the same situation. If he sets up in the wild card, is he going to end up playing, giving you 2 starts in the divisional series? So it's a classic watch what you wish for scenario.
Yes,
there is a part of me that wants the Yankees. And here's another part of it. Judge in the playoffs has not been great.
Right.
Like Judge's got a lot of pressure to prove he can be a big-time playoff performer. And Soto's not there anymore. Soto's gone. The Mets didn't even make the playoffs. Like, who the hell knows where Juan Soto is right now? But Judge and the uncertainty of his, clutch hitting in the playoffs, the fact that you avoid Crochet, the fact that Vladdy in particular loves Yankee Stadium, and the idea of the chance of beating the Yankees, as much as beating the Red Sox would be incredible, and seeing playoff games against the Sox at Fenway would be amazing. There's a part of me that would answer that question, say Yankees.
Yeah.
Take on the Yankees and just go in there and be ready to rock. Exactly, because you can set up your rotation now. They won't have that luxury, especially if it goes to a 3-game series in the wild card. And the Jays have played really well at Yankee Stadium, and Vladdy in particular loves that park, man. He hits as well as anybody in history at Yankee Stadium. Well, and real close to it.
And they won the season. There's a reason why. They tied in the standings, but they won the season series.
They won the tiebreak.
You got to feel very comfortable that you can do that, or you've done that this season. So I would like to see the Yankees too. It just seems, storied franchise, go right at it head to head. I think there would be a lot of Toronto fans that could make it to New York, although Boston's a quick flight as well, too.
You can get to both. Yeah. And vice versa. They're going to come up here, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
unfortunately.
Fan interaction. I mean, so be it. New York fans, what do you think your boy Rory and all of that?
Yeah.
Like
Tom
Watson.
I was going to ask you that. Who do you think partied more, the Jays or the Europeans?
Oh, the Europeans.
You think Europe?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I would say it would be equal, But, I mean, you're Rory. You go into downtown New York feeling pretty good. Like, there were some fans chirping him. I saw Tom Watson, read an article about him today, like saying he was embarrassed for the, U.S. fans and how hard they were on the golfers. I mean, that's New York. New York fans can be harsh. They can be vocal. You got to play through it. But, yeah, there was some chirping. Rory had some reactions early on, but they were listen, it ended up being a tournament. At one point it was a 12-5, and I was like, this is a blowout.
After Saturday it was and it was because Europe just played so well.
They did.
Like, the Americans didn't necessarily help themselves and they couldn't keep up, but Europe was phenomenal. They never missed a putt, and their foursome, production was just out of this world. It was out of this world how well Europe was playing, and they just completely spanked the Americans. There's no other way to put it. And it became a formality, albeit, credit to the U.S. because they did push on Sunday, and they made it interesting.
Yeah, they did.
But you're right about the crowds. Like, we talked about this for 2 years, how crazy the crowds are, and then they're crazy, and people are surprised. We literally for 2 years, you won't believe the New York crowds and Beth Page, they're going to be insane, and it's going to be gruesome and really ugly. And Luke Donald, the captain of the European team, had been preparing this for 2 years, and then it happens, and people are like flabbergasted. I can't believe it happened. And I'm not condoning it. Obviously, we know if there's a line that can be crossed, then anyone that's doing it is a buffoon and an idiot. And they know they're being an idiot. But it is New York. We knew it was coming. And golfers aren't prepared for that stuff. They're not used to it. Like, everywhere Rory goes, he's the belle of the ball, man. Everyone loves McIlroy. He doesn't get chirped ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And, again, it's not about condoning. It's just a reality.
Listen,
go talk to some relief pitcher sitting in the dugout at Yankee Stadium. Do you know what those guys hear?
Yes.
Do you know what a Red Sox reliever hears in the bullpen at Yankee Stadium?
Buffoonery. Believe me,
it'd be insane what they would hear.
How about being a backup goaltender at Madison Square Garden?
Exactly.
You're sitting in the corner because there's no room on the bench. And some jackass has had 50 rum and cokes, and he feels like he needs to discuss life with you. It's just it's ridiculous. But New York's known that, and I would think that they were prepared for it. Didn't they hire a comedian who chirped them and stuff like that? I do believe that they had some form of preparation for it. But there's no preparing for it. When you're in the heat of the battle, and you've got to make a putt or you've got to make a quality drive, and there are people just giving it to you, that's the type of mental fortitude that you have to have as an athlete. And, credit to the Europeans. They were nails.
They fought through it.
I thought, I watched – yesterday was a tough couching day because I was all over the map. Obviously, you're watching Jays, then you're watching Ryder Cup, your NFL. I don't, I can't even. We'll get to your.
Oh, we'll get to the Packers later.
That
I have some things to say about them.
But there was just lots of storylines throughout every league, and you're just trying to catch up and go, oh, okay, this is great, this is great.
Right.
But it was a great couching day.
It was, but it was a weird kind of crescendo in the late afternoon where you realized the Americans tried, but they're not going to do it.
Right. So you
it's
could switch
over.
over. Yeah, you could switch over for some there.
Exactly. Tampa's trying, not that you want it to happen, but is it going to be suspenseful or not? Nope, they're not going to. The Jays have it.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens, Chiefs, which had the potential to be one of the great games of the year, you realize the Ravens don't have it. Wow. And the Chiefs are just spanking this team. So, you got to, by 5:30, the Ryder Cup was definitely over. The Jays game was pretty close to being over. But it was a weird kind of, finality where you realized, okay, Ryder Cup, no. Jays-Rays not going to be suspenseful. Right. And Chiefs-Ravens not going to be suspenseful.
I kind of kept flicking around because I kept thinking, now's the time I'm going to miss some sort of crazy comeback or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to miss it. No, Jays are in good shape here. Keep extending the lead. You're right. Lamar, I'm concerned about the Ravens now.
I am very concerned. Remarkably concerned because they've got a lot of injuries now defensively, and the defense wasn't great anyway. And if Lamar's out for a couple of weeks, I don't know what went on there. And for him to leave the game, it doesn't happen often for quarterbacks, unless it is a pretty bad injury.
Serious.
So you would presume something's going on there. And if it is, and they're 1-3, and guess who's sitting at the top of the AFC North? The Steelers are 3-1. Rodgers is slinging it. He's having a party over in Ireland. He looks good.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are legitimately in big trouble. Like, it's a full-blown panic now.
And good on Mahomes on the other side.
Yes, they look really good.
Made a statement and said, okay, enough with the whispers here the last 2 weeks and all of that. Like, I'm going to let you know I'm still alive here and still the GOAT type of thing. I mean, there was good storylines in the NFL. I mean, the Bills just do it.
Yeah, 4-0.
Josh Allen.
A little bit tight at time with the Saints, but that was never going to be a game. They're just too good, and the Saints stink.
Too good, and Josh Allen.
Yeah, you're right, though. The Chiefs, man, because what happened with the Ravens back-to-back weeks, Detroit and Kansas City, they just beat them up.
Yeah.
And that's a bad sign. And that's what would scare Harbaugh. The injuries for sure, but you got beat up at the line of scrimmage. You got beat and you got hurt. Yeah. And that's trouble if you're the Ravens. So Luke Wilson coming up at 5.
I do have one thing for you. I thought the Stolarz signing was unbelievable.
Yes. Let's come back and get into that. I want to get into the Stolarz signing. I want to get into my 5-pack. We're still finding a way to name this. But 5 members of the Blue Jay organization who are feeling it today.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Deserve to, considering where we were this time last year. So we'll get to that. Luke's coming up. Steve Sands will join us from the Golf Channel. Sandsy was down there at Bethpage. He'll join us in just over an hour. The O-Dog's off again today, right? The O-Dog's off today, but hopefully we're going to get him back soon. And Luke Wilson coming up just after 5. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never
OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Luke Wilson in here at 5. We got 2 games tonight. That means Al's brother and I have to pick, and Timo and Wilson will be on the clock. I wouldn't say these are exactly barn burner games. Like Jets Dolphins is just a disgusting game.
Cincinnati Denver.
And Cincinnati without Burrow, it's okay. I guess we'll watch, and I will. I'll watch it. It's gross, but I'll watch every single snap.
Yeah.
So we'll get to those games at 5 with Luke. Steve Sands in about an hour. So Anthony Stolarz, we were wondering what was going to happen with him and his contract, and he ends up signing for 4 years, $3.75 million. Works out to $15 million total.
It's a great deal.
$15 million total. So great deal for both parties. One party.
Both
Parties.
So here's why. And we had this debate. I think you had your was Sarah Davis hot or not comment or whatever about it. Like, when other goaltenders were signing, everyone's like, oh, you got to give him $5 million or $6 million. He played 34 games, career high last year, but was fantastic in those games. Like, his numbers were off the charts. This is a guy at 31 years old. What you are is he's matured into a very, very good goaltender because he's been around the league and he was traditionally a backup. Now he's in a situation where he's not only in a tandem, but he can be your one. So you're giving him some stability in net, a 4-year deal. But the Leafs have stability now. Like, this is a guy that, for the most part, if he's healthy, he can play every night or close to it. Now, can he get to 50 games, 55, whatever? We'll see this season. Right now, he's the guy. With Joseph Woll not available to the team, you've got the Hildebeest and you've got James Reimer. And James Reimer, I think, is going to – I'd be shocked if he doesn't get a game here in the preseason or at least get a little bit of a look. But you've got a guy that has proven that he can play a really high level at 3.75. That's what third and fourth liners are making in the league. Like, I think it's an unbelievable deal from the organizational standpoint, but from a guy who's never signed for massive money either. That's $15 million he's putting into his pocket in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
He might have been able to get more, to be honest. I think if he played out the season and decided I'm going to be unrestricted, you could probably go somewhere and get something with a 4 in it or maybe a 5 in it if you have a great season. But he showed allegiance to the Leafs that brought him in last year. He knows it's a good situation. I think it's a win-win. It's an unbelievable deal.
Well, and I think that last point is important because with the Marner exit, there's a lot of emotion in the market, and the you hear this from people and it's always ignorant and quite frankly wrong.
Right.
The market's too tough. Run people out of town. Stolarz couldn't wait to sign. He signed. Nyes couldn't wait to sign. He signed. Tavares couldn't wait to sign. He signed.
Yeah.
Right. Like McCabe a year ago couldn't wait to sign. He signed. Like I could go on and on and on. Yeah. The amount of players that
Domi.
I could go on and on and on. The amount of players that couldn't wait to re-sign or couldn't wait to stay here or wanted to stay here, got deals done. And is it different for everyone? Of course. And this isn't about Mitch. Like Mitch, okay, he chose, he wanted to go, but that doesn't mean this isn't just crazy and it's not a good place to play or the players aren't insulated or they don't feel protected or they don't feel like they're in a good spot, because there's a much longer list of players dying to stay or dying to sign here than there are that want to leave or don't want to be here. And this is another example of it.
I would circle, and this is unfair, but I'm going to point it out. A guy like Philip Grubauer. That guy left a Stanley Cup winning team. Philip Grubauer, good goaltender.
Left Colorado to go to Seattle.
Go to Seattle, got an extra year, a little extra money. He was available to the whole league because Joey Decourt is their guy. So he got a little bit more money and some security, a little bit more security, but he went to a team that was an expansion team, and they've taken their lumps, and I don't know if they're a playoff team again this year, where he could have stayed in Colorado in a really good situation. And why I'm comparing that, it's apples to oranges, but it's more Anthony Stolarz knows what he has here. He's got a good team, good defense, great coach, all of that type of stuff, knows how to play behind it. Like, why not stay? And why not say, yeah, give me 4 years, but I want a number. I need $15 million. Okay, let's work it out.
Yeah, and that's what I figured was the bold number. I thought he'd be thinking $20 million bold.
Yeah.
And maybe the Leafs were thinking 10 or 12, and they met somewhere in the middle. It ends up with 15, right? It ends up a $15 million bold number, and he got trade protection, which again I think the Leafs felt they had to throw in there to get the cap hit down. Listen, I think it's a win for the team, the cap hit, clearly. It's a win for the player, the term. That's he's got this year and next. He's got 5 years left for a 31-year-old who, like you said, has not had a ton of runway as the starter. But he's kind of avoided betting on himself. Like, there's two ways to look at it. You can bet on yourself, or you can say, you know what, I want to get this done. And a lot of players are different. We talked to Ray for years, and Ray always said he hated playing in his last year of his contract. It just was going to mess with his psyche. He'd prefer the security, go out there and play. But I think you're right. Like, if Stolarz, if he got to, let's say, 40 starts this year, and his numbers were anywhere close to the way they were the last 2 years, he would make more money.
Yes,
he would. In a 32-team league, he would get more money somewhere else if he hit the market. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, conversely, if he has injuries and his numbers inflate, maybe he wouldn't get $15 million total. So there's always a gamble both ways. But I think it's very reasonable. And I think what has flipped here and what Leaf fans are adjusting to is Treliving's getting deals that are appropriate. Like, what has happened here is Stolarz, Nyes, Tavares, the Leafs are no longer living in this world that they created. And I think it was the guy at the top, not even the intermediate guy. I'm not even talking Dubas here necessarily. I think it was Shanahan who gave off this impression like you got to overpay or these guys are never going to want to stay. And you just get it done. Make sure they're happy. And what Treliving has done here with the Nyes deal, the Tavares deal, and now the Stolarz deal is they're playing by the same rules as Carolina, as Florida, as Nashville, as Seattle, as Vancouver, like all these other teams that are like, we're not paying you a Toronto under the bright lights tax because it's so hard here. We got to overpay you. We're not doing that.
Nope.
Like, that's not going to happen. Like, we're going to pay you appropriately. And I think that's what has happened here. And that's a good sign for the Leafs because it was long overdue. They were handing out deals. They were losing deal after deal after deal. And it's not that the player didn't match it at some point.
Right.
And I get it. It's complicated with superstars. Like with Matthews and Marner and Nylander, it's complicated. But you can't sewer yourself at the negotiating table. and then expect to win on the ice. It's got to be balanced, and that balance has arrived here.
You're right, and it is specific to every player. Remember, we had conversations where, Timo Meyer scores 40, Willie gets to 40. It's like, well, Willie needs 11.5, Myers takes 9.
Right.
And you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly.
But what Tree's done is paying these guys what they want and appropriately within the structure of the team. You're right. There's no extra Toronto tax. I always say it. And I grew up in Edmonton. There probably is a little cold weather tax there, maybe Winnipeg. There's some marketplace that you might have to pay a little bit more to attract. Now, McDavid, the golden goose being there, has attracted some guys on value contracts. But outside of that, Toronto's built a winning program where people want to be there because it's like, hey, we've been in the playoffs 9 years in a row. I want to be a part of that. It's not, hey, we're hoping to make the playoffs or wishing all of that. You've got structure in place. You've got a great coach. To me, there's a lot of factors that check things off to come to Toronto. And other organizations have created that. Yes, Dallas and Tampa, there's tax and tax things.
Sure, and that applies in some areas.
But ultimately, those are good programs too.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's got a great program. So does Florida. So does Dallas. But in the end, you nailed it. This is not overpaying, but it's just it's appropriate for the player.
It's
and
a
the
level
player's
playing
happy
field.
with it.
Exactly. And it should be a level playing field, especially when it's your own guys.
Yes.
That's what's important. Could there be a tax in free agency, getting someone that's not familiar with any place? Yes, that can happen. Yes, and then you got to make the decision, am I comfortable doing that or not as the GM? Do I want to pay him $1 million more than I value him at? You got to make that call. That's what you get paid money for. That's what the 32 GMs have to do. But to keep your own people, the idea that they keep pushing the envelope on a tax, that's what was troublesome. That's where the Leafs kept jamming themselves and being like, we got to pay this guy more than he should be getting paid when he wants to be here. And what the Leafs have done, clearly, again, yes, they've won. I understand in the playoffs. I get it. Right. They got to own that. They got to change that reputation. But they have been in the playoffs 9 straight years. That's more than any other team in the NHL. And they have a first-class infrastructure that very few teams in the league have. Very few in terms of what they supply the players, what they have available for the players, how the players are treated on the road, how they're treated when they show up in the morning. The resources are borderline unparalleled. There's some teams that can match it, but the Leafs, they treat their players incredibly well. They treat them very well. And what should come with that is a level playing field. That doesn't mean, they should be expected, the players should be expected to give back a ton. In some cases, they have. Tavares, again, if he hit the market, he would have made more money than he got here. He wanted to stay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But even that is an example of what we're talking about, where the Leafs are understanding of that. Still going to pay you. Not going to pay you $1 million, $1.5 million. Exactly. But, you got to throw us a bone here a little bit. You had a good run for 7 years. You want to be here for another 4 or 5? Throw us a little bit of a bone because we've treated you so well. To the credit of John Tavares, he did that. And he's not complaining about anything. He's not standing outside the bank saying, hey, everyone, come look at my statements now. Yeah. He's playing. He's showing up, and he's working hard, and he's a part of the Leafs. And that's what he wanted. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's finally now that you can call it maybe a market correction. Because what you talked about where, guys were getting overpaid or whatever, they had their own internal salary cap that was really high. That's what was out of whack. Because Tampa had one, Boston had one, all these other teams Florida seemed to have one. Well, Toronto had one that just seemed to be inflated. So each guy's like, well, why wouldn't I ask for that? That's what, my teammate, I'm as good as that guy. It's probably between Marner and Nylander going, well, I need that because that guy needs that. And he just signed, so I got to go higher. So that's what was happening. Now, with Tavares coming, where he is in his age and his career, that was an easy one, a market correction. You want to stay, you're going to chop your salary in half or less than that. And it's a great deal for what he's going to bring to the table. Willie, a year from now, 2 years from now, is going to be a bargain at 11.5 because the salary cap's going to be at $120 million. Austin, you're going to have a couple real good years of Austin at what is he, 13?
13.5, I think. Yeah, 13.5.
Yeah, so, that's going to be appropriate for what a superstar brings to the table. It's just, it was the next level where you're like, well, that guy doesn't deserve 6 or 7. Like, let's hold on a second here. So Trees reset that marketplace, and it's going to help with the depth of this group. And I keep saying he's not done. Like, there's going to be somebody else that he acquires. I don't know. Do you watch the game Saturday night? I mean, it's, again, throwaway game.
Yeah, the prop, like, they win on the road, they lose at home. When they have a borderline American Hockey League team, they win. When they have a borderline NHL team, they lose. Like, that's the nature of the preseason. Yeah, it is. And, you know, that's probably going to be it for Stolarz. And Matthews is going to play one more time, I think, on Thursday, and he'll be done. And, you know, for the veterans, they're just trying to get through. It doesn't really matter. What I found interesting was it felt like it was the Lane Hutson night and story, and like a lot of the players were being asked about Hutson, and man, were they complimenting him. But I think it's deserved. You know, the way he plays and dances and walks the line, but after the game, that's what, like, asking Joshua and asking Wall, and I know, but what do you think of Lane Hutson?
But let me ask you this: when's the last time somebody outside of Toronto was being asked about in Toronto? It's usually the other way. You know, you're in Calgary going, what do you make of Matthews' 4 goals the other day? And you got Michael Backlund going, I saw that. It was pretty cool. In Toronto, we're talking about, now Lane Hutson was playing against Toronto, but it's still, it was a unique turn for me, because that's rare that so much gushing was done over an opposing player in this market. Usually it's vice versa.
You're right. It's tough to infiltrate the market when there are other stories to talk about. Right. You know, and I think it kind of might speak to what's going on in the market. Like the Stolarz news, it's out, and you know, it was, I guess, still hanging over on Saturday, but it was more of a story like as the camp opened, you know, and it seemed like a formality that the job was going to get done and the contract would get signed. But I think it kind of speaks to where the Leafs are at, that it's pretty quiet, pretty positive. Yeah. You know, like there hasn't, knock on wood for the Leafs, there hasn't been any injuries or anything. And, you know, everyone's got their deals, and there's a few pending UFAs at the end of the year. But for the most part, everyone's pretty secure, right? Yep. Berube's got a pretty calm tone, and he's working them and he's on them. But it's a different feel. Like we had Jonas in last week, and he said that himself. And he's around the team as much as anyone, and he couldn't put his finger on it, but it just felt different. And I think it's calm and quiet, and maybe that's an example of it. Yeah. Another guy comes to town. Now, it is Lane Hutson. It is the Habs. Saturday night Leafs Habs. Yes. And he, you know, again, he had some really nice plays, and he was kind of dancing on Saturday. Wow. But it does speak to it that, hey, let's talk about this guy, because with the Leafs, it's kind of very relaxed right now where they are in camp.
It's internal battles. You're going, okay, what's going to happen with Robertson? What's going to happen with Cowan? What's going to happen?
And it looks like Cowan's got the inside track on that.
It does.
Like as of now, Cowan with Lawton and Lorentz on the fourth line seems very likely.
Yeah.
As of now.
Yeah, and if he can settle in and push up the lineup, they do have some flexibility with him. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with the Camps and the Yarncroaks and guys like that, to see if, you know, they either slide them through waivers, they keep them, or they, you know, put Cowan down to keep that roster spot until the season starts. And if there's an injury, all that types of stuff. Like, I know that's what Treliving and his management group have to go through. But I think, you know, the storyline, it's so funny. I got asked today, you know, what do you make of Lane Hutson not being invited to Team USA camp, and what of him not being on the TSN top 50? Yeah. I was like,
double shot.
I go, I voted for him.
Like, you're Bill Guerin. Yeah, you're Bill Guerin, and you're a TSN voter.
Yeah. But I can't remember. Did you have him on your list?
I had him. I did, actually. And I've joked about this because you could just lie.
Yeah,
I had Nicholas Waugh on my top 50. Like, you could just make it up, and no one's going to go and track down your list. I did have him in my top 50. I had him in the 40s.
Yes.
But Hutson, man, to me, the way he played last year, if he keeps up that level of confidence, he's going to be one of the 50 best players in the league this year.
Yes.
Like, I fully believe that.
I believe this is the last year of him being disrespected, if you call it. Because if he doesn't make Team USA, it's just the depth there. He'll have, if he stays healthy, have an amazing year, put up a bunch of points, all of that. He'll climb to that next stratosphere. So I would argue he will be on, if he doesn't make this Team USA, he'll be on the next one, and he will be in the top 50 for many years at TSN. So unfortunately, it's just probably a a 4-month, disrespect for him.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what? That there's the name of my list coming up. Put some respect on my name. All right. These are the 5 members of the Blue Jays, because one of the more hilarious interviews ever when the Birdman went in with the Breakfast Club in New York back in the day. Said, put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
So we're going to put some respect on the names of 5 members of the Blue Jays. We'll do that. Luke's coming up. We've got Steve Sands coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke Wilson in about 15 minutes. Double shot Monday Nighter tonight. Battle of the 0-3 teams, the Dolphins and Jets. Someone's got to win, but maybe not. Maybe we learned that last night. Maybe they don't have to win.
I hate these ties. I literally hate these ties. You're looking at both of their records now, and there's a 1 in there.
Yeah,
1-2-1 for
Packers
Dallas,
are 2-1-1, and Cowboys are 1-2-1.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a really weird ending, and there was no urgency from the Packers. It was like they were playing for a tie, and then they got lucky they got a tie. It was just buffoonery at the end of the game, and we'll get into that with Luke. Luke coming up in 10. Steve Sands in about 40 minutes. All right, put some respect on my name list.
Yes.
All right, the Birdman once said that famously with the Breakfast Club. Put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
All right, I got a 5-pack. Players, managers, GMs, in terms of the Blue Jays today compared to where they were last year. At number 5, I have Bo Bichette. Okay, Bo Bichette last year did not have a good year. Did not have a good year. Injury-riddled year. I believe he was a negative wins above replacement. It was a mess. It was a mess for Bo. And at that point, it felt like a foregone conclusion. He didn't have a future with this team. Who's going to pay him and what are they going to pay him? I love that. Hayes' list. Put some respect on my name.
Well, people are talking about you should trade him and get something back for him, like break up, the him and Vladdy type of thing. Like he was in a dark place, and I think the fan base was in a dark place with him as well last year.
Absolutely, and he completely redeemed himself. He was phenomenal this year, injury notwithstanding, but he can't control that. Play at the plate. That's another reason maybe where you want the Yankees. Right? We'll see the Yankees. Again, we'll meet you at home plate, Yankee Stadium, where you took out Bo Bichette. Yeah. So Bo Bichette at 5. Number 4, I got John Schneider. John Schneider. Now, some people might say you should be higher on this list, and that's possible, but I think it'll make sense once I get to the 3 guys in front of him. Now, Schneider, classic case of the Jays. The Jays, historically have had managers that have kind of just managed here, and they haven't really gotten jobs anywhere else or had success anywhere else. Maybe Bobby Cox notwithstanding. John Farrell famously got plucked and went to Boston, won a World Series, but then that disappeared for him. Yeah. But Cito Gaston, no. John Gibbons, no. John Schneider, and it was like, all right, here's a guy who's been in the minors forever. Is he going to win? Can he win? Is he just going to be a lackey for the front office? Yeah. And this year, he stepped up big time. Now, he's always been a likable guy. That's why I got him at 4. And again, I don't think it was his issue why everything went awry last year, but he didn't help. And this year, I think he's gone with gut instinct. He has not been dealt a great hand in terms of the bullpen and their performances, and he's had to dance around that consistently all year. And I think he's done the best possible job you could in that scenario. And I think he's really made a name for himself. I think this was a huge season for John Schneider. He's made it this year. So John Schneider at 4.
Big time. Really enjoy his body work.
Yeah, he's done a great job. This might surprise some people. I got Ross Atkins at 3. Now, I think a lot of people would have thought Ross might be at the top of this list. But I got Ross at 3. Now, Ross is a tenured GM. He's been here for a long time.
Yes.
Right? And they have made the playoffs before. But this year, a lot of the work he did last offseason has not really done anything for them this year. Santander obviously has not done anything. They brought back Garcia. He's been hurt. Scherzer, didn't pitch really the first half and then was good for a while. And then recently it's really been a struggle for him. Hoffman was actually a lot better recently. Credit to Jeff Hoffman, a lot better recently. But we know he's blown saves, given up a lot of home runs. ERA hasn't been great. But the youth in the system that he is responsible for, he's been here so long. The contract he gave to Alejandro Kirk before the year, unbelievable work considering the way Kirk has played this year. His faith in a lot of these guys, including John Schneider, Ross Atkins, put some respect on his name. What a turnaround this year compared to last. Ross Atkins at 3.
deserves a lot of respect. And the fact that, some of the moves that didn't make, like the Ohtani, all of that, chasing that. And people were all over him, but he's stuck with the team. He's been patient.
The deadline, he went out and got Shane Bieber. That was a risk-reward move. It's been a great move for them, a great move going out and getting Shane Bieber. All right, at number 2, Alejandro Kirk. Again, when he signed that contract, people wondering what's going on. The last couple of years, he's not been good, especially at the plate. Like, his batting statistics have been terrible. Remember the Gabby Marino trade?
Yes.
Everyone was like, how do you move off Marino? How do you move off Danny Jansen?
Yeah.
A lot of people in Toronto thought you're stuck with Kirk. How can you pick him? And look what he's done this year. He's been phenomenal. He started more games than at any point in his career. He's been healthy. Yeah. Massive hits, including the grand slam yesterday and the home run. Alejandro Kirk at 2.
Very consistent.
Unbelievable redemption. Put some respect on his name.
Yep.
And at number 1, George Springer.
I was going to say.
Got to be Springer, right? George Springer just had statistically one of the best years in Blue Jays history. But a guy that's somewhat injury prone since he arrived in Toronto. The only thing that could knock him out was a fastball to the head.
Yes.
Right? That's the only thing that knocked him out this year. Yeah. That took a 95-mile-an-hour fastball off the head. That's the only thing that knocked him out. And the guy has been so consistent all year. They're clearly their MVP. Their best player, DH, he's reclaimed the leadoff role, which he had when he arrived, and he lost, deservedly so, because he's played the last 2 years. Numbers off the charts, hitting for power. Look at this. Since the All-Star break, his ranking, his average 369, second in baseball, his on-base percentage first, his slugging first, obviously his OPS, over 1,100 since the All-Star break OPS.
And he's 36 years old, too. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, he was an afterthought coming into the season.
He really was.
How are you going to hide him in the lineup? What are you going to do with Springer's contract? And literally their most important player.
Yep.
Every time you've needed something big, emotional, or an actual play, he's the guy who's delivered.
George Springer.
Put some respect on his name.
Springer, put some respect on his name. The Birdman. Yeah. George the Birdman Springer at the top of the list. So there it is. Yeah. That's your 5-pack. We'll get to something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza, on who could be the third starter for the Jays going into the ALDS. Luke coming up, Sandsy coming up. Our best bets, hour 2 next.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Brian Hayes, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, the O-Dog off today. Got Luke coming up here in a moment. Steve Sands later this hour. Got our best bets coming up. The Jays are off to the playoffs. The Leafs are on their way to Muskoka for a little team bonding, which is always great.
It's not bad. I mean, as long Muskoka, you can't get in trouble, can you? Like, there's nothing. No. There's no like nightclubs and stuff like that up there.
Not now. I mean, once you get past Labor Day, it's a different world in Muskoka. You go up there in the summer, you can get yourself in some trouble, possibly. But I'm guessing a little golf. They'll hang out. I don't know. What do they do now? Play video games, right?
Yeah, a lot
Probably play video games.
Yes, Call of Duty or whatever.
Call of Duty in Muskoka.
Yeah. I don't know.
What the when Wilson is cooking.
Wow. That's an entrance.
There he is. How about that? Cutting everybody off. Talking Muskoka, man.
What about, I was just going to say, though, in the NFL, did they have team bonding trips and stuff? Because we did. When I was playing in the NHL, like, we had lots of team bonding trips, rookie dinners, all of that. In the NFL, before the season, Luke, is there a team bonding trip with, like, all 60 guys or what?
Absolutely not, Noodles. I mean, you're asking for mass arrest.
I was just
like big problem.
You do that. Nothing good is coming from that trip. No. I was listening in. You guys said, they go golfing, something like that. We're not going golfing.
No, the boys aren't going golfing.
The boys aren't going golfing. The boys are up to no good.
Yeah, and then the team's responsible because it was their idea to have the team bonding.
Yeah, I remember one year we did an end-of-the-year party, and I'm not going to share too many details. I'd say there was probably 40 guys there. It was in a nightclub. It was like a Tuesday night as well, and I remember looking around being like, the amount of illegal activities that are occurring in this small area.
Trouble.
It was it was something.
Yeah,
nowadays, there's cameras and stuff like that you cannot. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, all these clubs and that have multiple camera angles and that, people getting up to no good. Like, it gets out pretty quick as well.
Yeah, totally. Even if it's not a club thing, I have been in 11 in Miami where a teammate of mine was blackmailed in the club.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
It was really
disappointing.
interesting. Yeah. Didn't go so well for the guy trying to do the blackmailing. Let's
Wow,
put it
that's
that way.
probably a security guy being like, I got you doing something. And
Yeah.
you can pay me cash or
Yeah.
yeah, that's disappointing to hear. But hey, I guess you got to watch yourself, man. It's a different era, right?
The hockey guys up in Muskoka, what are they going to do up there? Go golfing?
I don't know. It's been the Leafs have done it forever. Like 30,
Really?
at least 25 years now. 20, 25, 30 years they've been doing it. And they when they get a little break in the camp, they'll skate. Like they'll bring their stuff up and skate.
Yeah,
But they stay at some resort. And they all kind of get together. It's weird because the coaches are around, the GM's around.
Yeah. I'll tell you the closest thing we did to team bonding in Seattle, which was unbelievable, but Pete had this thing, and he's been doing it for years. Apparently he started at USC. But he'd come in and, like, let's say we have a new guy, like a big free agent signing in the middle of the year, and he'd say something, he'd be like, why we win these tight games is from all the stories that people tell up here about, like, their upbringing and things, the trauma that's happened to them. And he would make up, like, the most heinous thing that didn't actually happen. Like, remember when Luke got up here and told this story? And I can't say exactly, because it was always one of the examples was me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't actually happen to me. Like, wildly offside. And then he'd go on and on. The most PG one was he would claim, like, someone's dog died. That was the most PG one. And he was like, oh, and these things were so messed up. And then he'd call up, like, Brian Hayes, get up here and tell your story. and we'd all be like, safe place, tell your story.
Yeah.
And the moment you said, like, my name's Brian Hayes, Pete would scream with profanity, like, we don't give a damn about your story. Everybody's got a story. And we'd all throw stuff at the guy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is the NFL. No one cares about your story.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did get Dale Earnhardt Jr. once, and that was probably the highlight of that. Dale was in for, like, he'll bring celebs in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He punked Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we were all like, that's the Mecca.
So Dale Earnhardt was going to tell you his story.
Yeah, and as soon as he said, like, well,
Everyone knows what his story was
like
going
we
to
get
be.
cut off here. Yeah, Pete cut him off, and we all went nuts and told him to sit down.
That's pretty wild because everyone knows Dale Earnhardt. Like, we know what his story was going to be, like, more than likely.
Now, the crazy one was the year before I got there, Terrell Owens apparently went up there. And then after they booed him and told him to sit down, he was like, no, I'm not sitting down. I want to tell you guys.
I'm telling you everything. That's trouble.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
CEO's like, you guys are going to listen to this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Different sport.
I
Different
guess
sport.
everyone's got a different kind of routine, right?
Yeah, different sport. Bigger locker room, too.
Yeah.
And a more split locker room.
Totally.
Like offense and defense is it's just a different mentality.
Totally. So different sport, different mentality, like you said. It's
and there's more of a hierarchy. Like, not that there aren't superstars in the NHL or NBA, but like a quarterback is so different than everyone else.
You're not. Yeah, you're not.
Like, he's just so different than everyone else.
Totally.
And the kicker. That's the two different
And the
ends
kicker,
of the
the other,
spectrum.
you're right, Noodles.
The kicker
The
and
other end is the kicker.
the other one that I always giggled at, and like I don't even know what the correct term is. Is it long snapper or deep snapper? I don't know.
Yeah.
But like you sit there and you're like, what is this guy's job? Like, how does this guy have a job here?
It's a long snap.
Dude, he just snaps a ball. Like, we
Yeah,
can't
but-
get one of these other guys to do that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, you would think, like, why can't the center do that?
But what's the long snapper? Like, do they make big money? Like, who would be the most expensive long snapper in the league?
I don't know, but I bet the most expensive guy would be like a couple schmil. I don't know the answer to that though, Noodles. But
Well, there's a minimum in the league that everyone's got to make, right? Like, at a minimum, the guy's making whatever, $1 million or whatever it is.
yeah, I'm guessing 2-3 schmil would be the long snapper, man.
Pretty good. You know what, Luke? I got to ask you, what the hell's going on with these ties? Like, what are we dealing with here? This Dallas,
Oh, I thought you were talking
Green
about my
Bay.
tie. I'm like,
No,
I don't
not
know.
your tie. Your tie's fine.
It is a good-looking tie.
It is.
The
I'm
whole
talking about.
thing's put together.
I'm talking
It's a good
about
look.
watching a 40-40 tie.
I was
in
infuriated
football.
watching the end of that game.
You
Like,
were.
There was no urgency from Green Bay.
Yeah, I
None,
can't
like-
believe that we didn't cover.
Well,
But
I
we'll
know
get to that.
Yes, but Green Bay, when they, like, after they threw away the 13-0 lead. What was frustrating was you go out and get Parsons. Their defense looked so good through 2 weeks. They looked good in Cleveland.
Yeah, looked
and
great.
They could not stop anyone
that
in the
was
second
scary.
half.
Hayes, you said it. I couldn't get over. I knew that Dallas's offense is good.
But no CeeDee Lamb, and the run game is still somewhat.
So. Javante's been good this year.
It's
but
okay, but
without CeeDee Lamb, I'm like, this is, the Packers' defensive unit is supposed to be elite.
Mm-hmm.
Dominated Detroit week 1. Did very well against the Commanders. Go into week 3, and it's like, week 3 was the Browns, and then week 4, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop anybody.
No.
Could not stop anyone.
And credit to Dak Prescott. Like,
sure.
Dak made some throws,
but
and some of his receivers.
Points,
I know, it's brutal.
Hey, this is what scares me with the Pack right now. Is like after week 2, we got offensive linemen being like, we might go undefeated.
Stupid.
Okay. And I'm going to go back to last year where it's like they lost 6 games, 2 to Minnesota, 2 to Detroit, 1 to the Super Bowl championship winning team, Philadelphia Eagles. And then the last game of the year that meant nothing, they lost to Chicago. So the whole narrative was like, we got to win the big one. We got to win the big one. We got to win, beat the teams that matter. Well, they do it this year. And now you come out and against Cleveland and Dallas, you're 1 loss and a tie.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well lost to Detroit.
Yeah, no, exactly. And now they're going to a bye week, which I don't love that it's this early in the season. Now, maybe it helps Micah Parsons get healthy and get prepared, and maybe he comes out guns a-blazing week 6. But
can I go back to something you said, too? Like, Jordan Love, I'm sitting there watching it, and before the last play, which we'll get to, I'm like, you are a Super Bowl contending team. These games early matter. I have played Green Bay in the playoffs twice. Once in Seattle, once in Lambeau. Let me tell you something, Hayes. Playing in Seattle, which was much nicer. No one wants to go to Lambeau in January.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a thing that anyone wants to do.
Right.
You need to beat Dallas.
Right,
and
for tie-break purposes and all that. Yes.
I'm watching it, and I'm like, there's 3 minutes left, and I'm like, dude, they only have 1 timeout. Like, why are they so nonchalant? And then all of a sudden it's under 2, and I'm like, we need to score and win. Like,
who do you blame more for that? Is it Love or LaFleur?
Both. I know. I'm not trying to get a cop out. It's 50-50, but it's like LaFleur should be like, hey, like it is now a battle against the clock. We cannot, we do not want to tie this game. We need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Love, like let's get going. And then we're watching it now. The last play was.
That's insane that he snapped that ball. I could not believe he snapped the ball.
I was laughing because the way he was lining up, I was like, okay, they're going to kill it and play for the tie.
Mm-hmm.
Just spike it into the ground.
I blame Jordan Love in that situation more than LaFleur has to take a lot of heat. But like when you're in a hurry-up offense that was not hurrying anywhere
at all.
But
that's on the quarterback.
Yes, you're not a kid anymore.
I agree.
Like he gets this reputation that he's still young. For starters, he backed up Rodgers for years.
Yes,
he's been in the league watching the NFL for a long time. You have to understand the urgency of the moment. He wasn't forcing anyone to move. That's on him.
It's like. Again, the saying I always went by was be quick but don't hurry. You don't want to be frantic where you're out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But like the end of the game there for me, okay, first off, I thought that the check down he threw before the last play there was the stupidest thing on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Throw it into the ground so that the clock stops.
Yes.
We don't need 3 extra yards right now. Throw it into the ground. Like have some awareness of what's going on. You're out of timeouts. We can't do this. Okay, then at that point, so you throw the check down, it's inbounds. Like, I'm going to go back to my, playing days. Even as a guy who's not calling shots, I'm not playing quarterback. You're now trips all goes or double all goes. So, for us, that would have been, not to get the football linguistics here, but trips all goes was dancer. Double was Aggie. That's what we called it. And the AG stood for all go. So, it's literally, you got to be, hey, get back, double right, Aggie, Aggie, Aggie. You snap that ball and you throw an absolute seed outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Outside all day. Again, and you look at Dobbs here on the top, that's the ball, except Dobbs can't jog off the ball. He's got to go, and we got to take a quick shot so we have 3 seconds, not 1.
They got so lucky. They got incredibly lucky they even tied the game. They were playing for a tie, the complete lack of urgency.
I couldn't get over it.
Yeah,
and this is what scares me about Green Bay, because I do believe that the roster is good enough that they can compete. They're in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come out here and you do things like that, and granted it's early, it's like, what's going to happen if you're playing Philly in the NFC Championship game? Because it's most likely going to be a one-possession game where you're going to need to know situational ball. What about the next time you play Detroit, in Detroit, for the division?
Yeah. I guess there won't be a tie in the playoffs. There's the one upside, but
who's doing the fonting?
The Packers frauds. Seems unnecessary.
I'm staring like it's a little aggressive. I mean,
2-1-1, but
2-1-1,
right.
and you know,
playoff team last year. You'd think we were talking about Miami or something. Or the Packers frauds.
At that. Yeah.
How about the Cowboys being frauds? Like, it felt like Jerry Jones was so happy last night, and his team tied too.
He should be.
Why? They tied. They're 1-2-1. They still stink. They can't stop anyone defensively.
With the amount of garbage this man, and rightfully so, has had to shovel.
Right.
Okay, because of the Micah Parsons thing. The guy was a ghost last night. He made a couple plays.
He did not do anything last night.
The sack was like...
That was a bogus sack.
Correct.
And he was still getting stopped. Like, Collinsworth was like, Prescott's home free. No, he wasn't. He was getting stopped before he got to the end zone.
Totally.
Right.
So it's like, okay, and when you pay a guy the amount of money he's being paid...
In a moment like that,
correct.
Dude, you're going back to Dallas. I thought he'd be great last night. He did nothing but this tackle. But he was getting stopped. Cooper was going to get to him, and
totally. And again, it's a great play there, but I'm like, your defense just gave up 40 points to a CeeDee Lamb-less Cowboys. Like, I think Jerry's probably at home giggling right now.
Think so?
Again, 1-2-1. He probably is, but without any self-awareness that his team still isn't doing anything.
Jerry's not a self-aware man.
He's got no idea what's going on.
That's one thing I wouldn't describe him as.
Are the Ravens finished?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they are, too.
Here it is. Hayes, so I'm not a guy that loves to click the panic button. I mean, you heard me after 0-2 Kansas City. I was
and
like,
to their credit, they've looked pretty good.
They looked very good.
Damn good last night, yeah.
And in Noodles, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, and I think they play, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they play the Texans and the Rams the next two games.
Yes, Texans for sure next week.
Now, the Texans' offense is awful, but defensively. So you're going to roll in with Cooper Rush playing. Matt Abuke is out for the year.
Right.
That's their best defensive player. I'll have to see, but Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphreys, Nate Wiggins, all potentially out. Like, Nate Wiggins is probably their best cover guy. Like, Humphreys is obviously a starter. Roquan Smith is 1A, 1B with Matt Abuke for best, player on that defense. And now Lamar is out. If you go to 1-5, because the Rams should be undefeated right now. Right. They had the stupid kicker issue.
Right.
Against the Eagles.
Against Philly, yep.
Yeah.
Even when Lamar comes back, I understand, hey, Lamar is unbelievable, one of the best players in the league. But you need 10 wins to get to playoffs in the AFC, in my opinion. So that means you're going to have to go 9-2 the rest of the way out.
Seems very unlikely.
I'm looking at it yesterday, and again, it's not that I had the Ravens going to the Super Bowl beginning of the year, so Raven fans, don't kill me. But you want to talk about decimated by injuries, right? Mm-hmm. Ronnie Staley, I don't know how hurt he is, but he left the game yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at this thing, and I'm just beside myself. I'm like, every position has basically got dinged up.
Well, and what I find amazing about that is who's done it to them. Detroit did it last week, and Kansas City did it this week.
Yeah.
Beat them up.
Beat them up.
On the line of scrimmage, literally, figuratively. Like, that's what would scare me if I'm Harbaugh. Is I'm watching my team get literally manhandled.
The run game has not looked great.
No.
I mean, again, the 3 losses are against very good teams. Obviously, Buffalo,
but
Detroit,
that's going to be your
City.
sked. Like, they were, they've got a tough schedule.
I don't know. This defense, I'm guessing, I haven't combed through everything yet for this week. We'll see on the Monday Nighters. But I'm guessing is now, I think they were coming into it, probably the statistically worst ranked defense in the NFL. And they certainly didn't help themselves yesterday. And now all of a sudden we're missing even more guys?
Yeah, it's trouble, man.
Yeah. Any update on Lamar or no?
No, I mean, Harbaugh was kind of cryptic, basically saying, if I know Lamar, if he could have played, he would have played, which kind of indicated to me he's like they got to bye in 2 weeks, so I'll bet you he doesn't play the next 2 weeks.
If it's a true hamstring, there's no way. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not here, but the other thing that is the kiss of death with hamstrings is they're very, very likely to reoccur if it's not 100%. And the second hamstring pull is the one that now becomes a 5-6 week ordeal. And by the way, when you're running back, now you're not as fast. So if the Ravens have brain cells, if he's actually got a legit
Sit him for the
hamstring
next 3 weeks.
there's no way he's playing the next
Well,
week.
and then they come back, Bears, Dolphins,
Easy.
Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals. Like, they actually can run off wins post-bye if he's healthy.
I agree. I agree with all that. I'm just saying you cannot, if they don't at least split the next two, you cannot slip up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you've got to a point where you got to be perfect.
It's got to be the rest of the way. And defensively, they're trash.
Yeah, right now they are.
They're awful. Speaking of awful.
Speaking of perfect.
Speaking of trash.
Speaking of perfect.
You guys almost had the worst weekend of all time.
Are you nuts, dude? We were on fire. There's Al's brother. We made one of the great picks of all time was Kansas City over Baltimore.
That was the biggest. That was
Everyone
the layup of the
was
year.
on Baltimore, just like Baltimore Bills, right, Al's brother? Like when we get thrown a curveball, we launch it like Alejandro Kirk. Good to see you, buddy.
Al's brother Kirk.
Al's brother Kirk.
My guy.
You and your guy Al Kirk.
I love Al Kirk.
Al.
Let me tell
Kirk DiStefano. How's everything going, buddy?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
you doing all right?
It was a great weekend.
Be honest, boys. Were you when we were +3?
Not
Were
nervous
you-
at any point.
No,
There was
we're the
some
Cleveland Guardians.
I'll
Felt
be
great.
honest.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I'm like, I did feel like KC, especially with Worthy back. I'm like, this is going to be a tough one.
And Worthy looked good, too.
Worthy
man.
looked great.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm like, if the Ravens cover this,
Packers
in my
roll,
head, I
you
was like,
thought.
the Packers are rolling without
I thought,
CeeDee Lamb.
too. I thought Packers.
I'm like,
roll
we're going to be
last night.
+5, and we might as well call like if we were a sweep tonight, which we will. If we get to +7, season's over. We might as well restart.
Wow, remember
You
last
guys
year?
were
we
up by
down.
like 11 games at one
Yeah.
point last year.
That's
We
not true.
came
It's
back
not
and
true.
won.
And it swung big. At one point, we were up 9 or 10. It was like a 20-point swing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's
I
week
will say
4.
the pressure is on you, too, though. Like, you didn't have...
I don't think so.
Yeah,
dude.
pressure
You don't
is on.
think so?
Well, we've
I-
got
We're up
bad,
1.
bad pick on the Vikings. Steelers are 3-1 and like they're
Aaron
the driver's
looks-
seat of the AFC North. Those brothers.
By a
Yeah,
lot.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Like,
By a lot.
Rodgers looks pretty good.
They're going to
Yeah,
win that
it does.
division with this Ravens news.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing is, like, the Vikings, they were in it right up until the very end, though. And we talked about that when we decided to go with the Vikings. As long as Wentz doesn't have that mistake at the end of the game
You're right.
and throw that game-sealing pick, we'll be okay.
Yep.
And it seemed like that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, as long as the
and then
sky's
he
not
threw
blue.
a pick at the end.
What's the matter with
Yeah.
you guys?
Well-
You know what, Hayes? You should know better going against Aaron.
I
He's
should
got
know
his
that.
mojo back.
You're right. And betting on Carson Wentz in the domestic United States is dangerous.
Yeah.
Betting on him across the pond
Dublin.
is crazy.
I'll tell you when
That's
you
on
know
us.
Aaron's rolling is when he starts doing all his goofy stuff. Like, did you see the one during the tush push they did where he like?
Yeah.
the whole
Oh yeah, when he
down?
starts doing the points and stuff like that,
Yeah.
He's in his bag.
Feeling
Yeah.
He's
himself.
feeling
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when he's smacking the defensive players
Yes.
and he's like, "Hey, good rush."
He had the fumble and which almost was catastrophic, and his own lineman picked it up. And he was giggling at
totally fine.
I couldn't believe it, but I was looking at the line thinking that it'd be close to a pick 'em, if not the Steelers leading the betting odds for that division on FanDuel. The Ravens are still like minus 200 to win that division.
Really?
They're 1-3. They're down 2 games, and they're somehow still minus 200 favorites, like 190 or something.
Well, that's because obviously Burrow's out. No one trusts the Browns. The Browns aren't going to win.
Well,
And
but the
it's
Steelers,
you're right.
The Steelers, it's like plus 270. That's great value
great
for a
value,
team that's
yeah.
already up 2 games.
for
Yeah.
Tomlin.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the concern. Like, what if Rodgers gets hurt? What if he slows down?
Rodgers gets hurt.
Yeah.
It's not that team is in shambles.
Trouble. But Tomlin does it every single year. Like, he guarantees you 9 wins.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
he guarantees you that.
I'll tell you this too: the defense is starting to look like the old defense with some like
They got
they've
some
always
old
been
guys
that,
on
like-
the outside, but
Yeah, they've always been that, like, we give up some yards, but all of a sudden TJ Watt makes a sick play and it's a turnover or they get one. And I'm like, uh-oh. Steelers got a couple big turnovers in that game. You guys
everyone's
lost the
happy.
spread.
Yeah.
I was thrilled.
Okay. Carson Wentz throws 3 interceptions. All right, Al's brother, where are we at here? We are on the battle of the AFC East.
Such a
Dolphins,
dumpster game.
Jets. Jets still getting 2.5. I think it's Dolphins laying 2.5.
Which we need to check that because I've seen some threes out there. It was
Check
looking close. I would like to know what it is right now.
Locking that in, Ryan.
2.5?
You're seeing 2.5. All right, 2.5. Ryan's calling it right now.
Buddy,
He's a man of integrity.
Ryan, I could see Ryan through the tinted thing. He's not. Look at him. He's giggling over there.
Ryan's jamming.
He's making things up.
Ryan knows he's jamming us, but that's fine.
He's jamming me.
I wanted it to get to 3 because I think I want to take the points regardless, and I would have loved to be at 3 as opposed to at 2.5 because I think the Jets. I mean, realistically, both these teams stink, right?
Yes.
And in a game where you have 2 bad squads, typically you want to take the points. But you got the Jets coming in here, and they can run the ball pretty effectively. The Dolphins' defense has been horrible. They've given up 30 points in every single game.
The Fins are frauds.
Fins are frauds.
Take the Jets.
100%.
Take the Jets.
We are taking the Jets.
Oh, my.
I'm
Lock
laying
in
the
the
points
Jets.
on the Jets.
Sure?
Lock in the
The
Jets.
Dolphins are terrible.
And the Jets are good?
The Jets, no, but they're. You give me a line where I can get points and stay away from the Dolphins, I'm doing that 10 times out of 10.
Wow.
The defense is terrible. They're dead last in
Let me ask
DVOA
you
this
this. Let me
year.
ask you this.
Dead
Didn't
last.
you guys think that the Dolphins weren't going to cover against the Bills?
Different situation.
The Fins are dummying you
Different
boys.
situation.
This
Not
is a
even
dub
close.
all day. This is a
Not
dub all day.
even close. They've allowed 145 rush yards per game so far on the ground.
Dude, they'll...
Brees Hall is going to run his ass off.
And
tonight,
Justin
I think.
Fields.
Justin
Fields is going to
is
run
back.
for 100 tonight.
We'll see, boys.
Aaron
like
Glenn
it.
gets his first win tonight. That's the thing. It's an Aaron Glenn moment. It's a big one for him, right? He's down in South Beach. He loves South Beach. He's probably at 11, probably getting blackmailed.
exactly.
Distorted in some fashion. And he's fighting back, and he's ready for Monday Night
Either
Football.
that, and then he'll get the Mac and Chuck treatment.
Yeah, that's
afterward.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's precisely what he's going to get.
like
You get points in a game like this. It's not that deep. It's a pretty shallow analysis. The Dolphins stink. They both stink. Give us the points.
The Fins
are
think
frauds.
the Fins are frauds.
Fins are frauds. Absolutely. All right, you guys are on Broncos, Bengals. Still minus 7.5. Broncos laying 7.5. What a greasy little line.
That hook is tough.
Really greasy.
That hook is so
Because
tough.
Browning can sling it, and he loves the Rockies.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I read that this morning.
Boys, I'm going Bengals all day.
You're taking a point.
Yeah, hell yeah,
No,
baby.
you're not. No,
Let's go.
Oh, my God. You
love the
idiot.
Broncos
You are an idiot. Oh, my God. Explain yourself.
I
Explain
love the
yourself.
Broncos tonight.
Oh, no. Dude, first off, Bo Nix has been very, very suspect this
Average.
year. He's been
Average at
very
best. He
suspect.
breaks out tonight
Uh-huh.
just like Aaron
Okay,
Glenn.
Browning, last time he was called to play, he was a completely functional, adequate QB. He goes in against the most complex defense, Minnesota. Brian Flores got guys moving all around there. I mean,
Sean Payton's going to bring that tonight. And you know
no,
it.
he's not. They don't have that style of defense.
They can muster it up for this cat.
I'm telling you, 7.5 points on prime time. You don't think Jamar T. Higgins, these guys are going to be able to figure, as long as we don't get too confused. Browning's a winner. He's got some record. He's like won 1 million games in high school, college, UW, go Dogs. This he's completely fine. He's going to find a way to keep this within 7 points.
When you
not even
define a
close.
quarterback,
I'm not giving up 7.5 points to Bo Nix.
It's a big number, and
To
they're at
Bo
home,
Nix?
and they have to win tonight because they're 1-2. And you look at the Chargers, you look at the Chiefs.
And you look at the rate. You don't think the Bengals are like, man,
No,
the
Bengals
Ravens,
are done.
the Ravens
Bengals are done.
Bengals are sunk.
Bengals
Oh,
are
yeah.
done.
Sunk.
That
Oh,
season
yeah.
is so sunk. The
Bengals are
Bengals,
done.
Oh, for sure.
their defense is horrendous.
I am
Absolutely
concerned.
horrendous.
Really.
You're concerned,
They've been
Noodles?
terrible this year?
I'm concerned. I thought you were going to go with Denver, but I mean,
No.
the Bengals.
I agree with you, Noodles.
It's a big number, though. It's
So
a big
it is
number.
7.5.
7.5. A big spread, man. That's a big.
6.5. I
backdoor
might have
cover.
considered it. 7.5.
Backdoor. I think
All right.
Jamar Chase loses his mind tonight when he's
I don't-
wide open and doesn't get touches.
Well, I don't think he's going to have a chance to break off his route. I mean, that defense is going to be in the backfield within
Surtain's going to be all
a
over.
second and a half. No, Denver's got the number 1 defense in terms of pressure rate this year, taking on the worst offensive line football. Jake
2
Browning
weeks
went
ago-
0.8 seconds.
2
to throw
weeks
the ball.
ago, this team didn't have Indiana Jones punt. Indiana Jones strode in against this Denver defense and didn't even have to punt.
That was a rope-a-dope on turf.
Rope-a-dope.
That's a good offense right there. Jake
I
Browning,
agree.
not a good offense.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
I was in a dome. This is open air.
That's
Everyone
right.
knows that
Completely
matters.
different.
Oh, yeah.
7.5
Completely
points,
different.
boys.
All right.
7.5 points.
Yeah, you guys are on the
can't believe
Bengals. Everyone's taking the points. The dogs are barking tonight, apparently.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Tua to hook up with like Waddle and then Hill, and I'm just going to be electric in this group chat.
This is the end tonight for Tua and the whole crew. Al's brother, great seeing you. Great picks, great analysis.
You think there's a chance that if they lose tonight, the Miami Dolphins lose? That could be it for Mike McDaniel?
I think after the performance they had against the Bills, which was, pretty
decent.
respectable.
They stayed in it.
Considering.
They need to come out and win this game tonight.
Against the Jets,
or else he's probably cooked.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think he knows it.
Just another reason that I'm pretty thrilled that I'm on that -2.5.
Aaron Glenn.
Thought they quit on him in the summer.
Glenn.
So.
All right, boys. Good stuff. We'll catch you in the group chat tonight. There's Al's brother and Luke Wilson. Steve Sands coming up. Best bets and something to chew on. We'll get to that next.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, something to chew on coming up. Best bets coming up. A couple of Monday nighters. Then we get into the wild card games tomorrow.
Yes.
We've got NHL preseason. You see Kawhi was doing his media today. Said, bring on the investigations. That's always what you want to hear about from your superstar. Yeah, we welcome the investigation.
Yeah.
That's comforting on day one.
Not a care in the world either.
Well, he doesn't care. They're not taking a penny away from him, and he's going to keep playing. And guess what? If they said you can't play anymore, he'd be like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, load management.
All right. Yeah, I'll go load manage in my retirement. All right, Europe didn't just retain. Now, they ended up winning. The score was deceptive, 15-13, because the Americans battled yesterday to their credit. But Friday, Saturday was just simply a beatdown. There's no other way to put it.
It was. At 12-5, you're looking and you're like, okay, this isn't even close.
Yeah.
But the Americans pushed back, and good on them. I mean, the crowd got into it, but you're right. Like, the Europeans were in control, it seemed like, the whole way along.
The whole time. Joining us now on the Maple Toyota Hotline, here he is from NBC and the Golf Channel. He was there all week. Here's Steve Sands. Sandsy, can the Americans take anything from what went down yesterday?
Here's 3 words I've never said in my life. Go Blue Jays.
Yes. Atta boy. Jump on the bandwagon, Sandsy. I love it.
Go. Let's bring that magical Joe Carter magic back to Toronto. Come on.
Love it.
Awesome.
Can the Americans recover? Is that the question?
No. Can they take anything from yesterday? Like, is there any solace you could take from yesterday?
I think the only thing they could take, is that they showed some heart and they stepped up yesterday. And like you said, the 15-13 is a little closer than it actually was. Yesterday was a bizarre day. And actually for a little bit there, it looked like Europe was going to win the thing 22-6. And then for a little bit, it looked like, wow, the Americans could actually win this thing. So it was a wild day. But I think showing heart, they were professionals yesterday. And I thought that was really cool to see from the Americans.
Sandsy, was too much being made of the crowd being hard on Team Europe, or were you fine with it? Or, what did you make of it? I'm sure you were right in the thick of the thing, hearing some of the comments. What did you make of all that?
Listen, I got to tell you, you guys know me well. We've been friends a while and been on your show a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm a proud American. I love traveling all over the world, and I think it's great. I think it's great meeting guys like you, having beers with you guys in Toronto, and seeing what the world is like in different cultures. I thought the Americans embarrassed themselves over the course of the last 3 days. I think I'm not trying to be old and be a curmudgeon, but, there are certain things you can yell in sports. There are certain things you can say in sports and keep it sports-like. Curse words happen, whatever. But, throwing stuff at Erica McElroy, I mean, what grown man, who throws things at a woman, okay? What are you doing? Why are you yelling things that are so personal to a person's wife who is standing there that you're bound to get reactions from players? Now, I will say, I do not think Rory McIlroy or any other player should ever curse at fans. I don't think paying customers should ever get yelled at or cursed at by the athletes who are performing. But, my gosh, how much can a guy take when he's getting stuff yelled at him? And I thought that the American crowd was way over the top, and it crossed over the sports gamesmanship fun line and became personal, and I thought that was pretty bad. I did not think the American fans showed out well the last 3 days at all for the world to see. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, it was. It became it was going to be one of the stories. I said this earlier. For 2 years, we talked about the crowd in New York. Right? It was always the build. It's going to be crazy. New Yorkers are crazy. They're going to go crazy. And once the competition became somewhat of an afterthought, that became an even bigger and crazier story. Yet it kind of speaks to the Europeans and their ability to fight through it. Like, in a way, did it galvanize them because it didn't slow them down at all?
No, and here's the thing. I don't think the Europeans are better. But, by the way, there were the great majority of fans were great and fun and having a good time. It's a different event. It's not some congenial golf hoity-toity type of thing. Everybody understands that. Well, when someone's yelling at Rory McIlroy when he's trying to fix the button on his shirt, hey, Rory, you don't need a button to choke, that's fun.
That's great.
He laughs, Tyrrell laughs, Shane laughs, everybody laughs. Everybody laughs at that. But when you start taking shots at someone's wife and shots at what someone's wife looks like, what someone's wife acts like, come on, man. Like, you can't be doing that. But anyway, look, I thought the crowd was going to perhaps get underneath some of the guys' skin on the European teams. On the European team, there's about 4 or 5 of those guys who really run hot. But the players on the American side are not worse than the Europeans. That's not why they lose 6 of last 8 Ryder Cups. What Europe does is they're just better at this thing. They're better at handling it. They're better at the team aspect of it, guys. They're better at the preparation of it. I don't think they care more. They just care a lot. And the Americans care a lot, but I think that the Europeans just handle it all differently. They were prepared for that zaniness. They knew it was going to happen. And, yes, there were a couple of times where the players yelled back at the fans, and I don't love that. But they were just ready for it, man. Luke Donald, right? Luke Donald's now won back-to-back Ryder Cups, home and road. Only one other European captain's ever done that, Tony Jacklin. He also won 4 Ryder Cups in 4 Ryder Cups played. 2 of them were on U.S. soil. So Luke Donald had them all ready to go and ready prepared, and it certainly showed the first couple of days.
With Steve Sands, NBC, and the Golf Channel looking back on the Ryder Cup, what was kind of disappointing was the way Beth Page just didn't have much teeth. Like, the greens were soft, the rough was down, and that was something Keegan Bradley was his call, and Keegan said he regretted that.
Yeah.
Do you think if he could have a do-over, what does he regret more, not putting himself on the team to play or having the course lay out the way it laid out?
That's a great question. I think a couple things. One is the setup was benign. There's no question about that, but there was a reason for that. The PGA Championship in 2019, the U.S. Open in 2009, the U.S. Open in 2002, those are brutally difficult conditions on a brutally difficult golf course to begin with. If you had those conditions for a Ryder Cup, it wouldn't be as exciting and thrilling. The Ryder Cup, you need scoring. You need opportunities. If you're just hitting in the rough, hacking it out sideways, and then wedging it onto the green, that's not going to be nearly as exciting. And at the end of the day, it's competition. Everybody's trying to win. It's also a TV show. I think they need to know. They know they need to put on a little bit of a show there. So that's the first thing on the golf course. But yes, if the golf course was set up more difficult, I think the United States would have fared much, much better. Scottie Scheffler won the PGA Championship this year, and the U.S. Open was won by J.J. Spaun, where Scottie and Sam Burns were in the mix. And you're talking about guys who were on the Ryder Cup team, and they won in those difficult conditions. So that's the first thing as far as the golf course. Yes, it could have been set up more difficult and would have been advantageous to the Americans. But for the event itself, I think it would have been a really bad look to just see guys hacking it out of the rough like you do at a U.S. Open. It would have been a slugfest as opposed to a high-scoring affair, if you will. Not that there's anything wrong with a pitcher's duel by any means, but at the Ryder Cup, you kind of want a 9-8 game kind of thing. As far as the team goes, he's 13th in the world. He's easily one of the top 12 players in America. So by definition, not picking yourself to play makes the American team worse. Personally, if you're going to have Bryson DeChambeau on the team, who's a live player, bring Brooks Koepka. He won the PGA at Bethpage in 19. He's got 5 majors on his resume, and he's a complete hard ass. So he's the guy you want to have out there with Bryson DeChambeau. So I thought that was a little bit of a mistake, but that's hindsight. But I thought not in retrospect, but at the beginning of this process, Bradley not taking himself made the team worse. That's not his fault per se. It's not wrong that he didn't take himself, but he, by definition, made the team worse by taking someone else other than him.
Do you think we ever see Tiger Woods as a captain at the Ryder Cup?
I do. I think he's actually going to be the captain next time in 27 at Adair Manor. There's a guy named J.P. McManus who owns that property in Ireland. Tiger's very close with him. Tiger turned down this time. He turned it down. He was offered it, turned it down. And I think he's clearly not going to be playing anymore as far as that goes. So I think he takes it in 27. It's a road game. Easier to be a captain if you're Tiger Woods because you have less obligations throughout the course of the 2 years. And I think he'll be the captain in 27. I could be dead wrong, but that's my guess.
Ooh, love that. Love that on the way out, Sandsy. Great job all week, man. It's been unbelievable. And go Caps. I think this is the end of the road for Ovi. This could be the swan song, buddy, so enjoy it while you can.
Drop the puck, baby. Let's go. I was talking to Brian Bushi. I was trying to Bushi last night.
Yep.
We were texting back and forth. He's such a massive golf guy. We were texting back and forth, and of course, I want to talk hockey. He wants to talk golf. And I said, "Are my Caps going to?" After we got done with the Ryder Cup and all that inside stuff, I said to him, "I go, hey, are we going to be better this year?" And he said, "No." But I agree with you. I think this is going to be Ovi's last year. It's the last year of his contract for sure. So I think it's going to be it for him. So we'll see.
Love it, pal. Thank you for doing this. We'll do it again soon.
Anytime, fellas. Go Jays, baby.
Go Jays. Steve Sands, Golf Channel on NBC, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Drive the built-in Canada fuel-efficient, fun-to-drive Toyota RAV4. Gas or hybrid models available. Visit mapletoyota.com.
Interesting that he
Tiger
said,
Woods.
Tiger. I love that.
The next one, maybe. We'll see. I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah. I also like how honest he was and say how embarrassed he was for the fans.
Yeah.
Like, how over the top they were. Because you hear rumblings, but he's right there. He's hearing some of the stuff. So for him to say that, it must have been bad. Like,
and saying stuff about someone's wife or kids, like that's such a loser thing. Like,
that is.
You shouldn't, like, the idea of a grown adult yelling or heckling anyone to an extent that's across the line is such a ridiculous move. But like a wife or kids, like that's just so stupid.
It used to be that
so
there were
embarrassing.
things that were. It used to be there were things that were kind of off limits, but it feels like the lines have been moved.
Yeah, they have been. The goalposts have moved a lot.
And also too, people will say it while they're filming you. They're looking for the reaction, right? Like they're filming it as they're trying to agitate, and they're Rory and all of those guys have nothing to lose to go back at them. Or I'm sorry, got
nothing
everything
to gain.
nothing to gain,
everything
to lose to go back at them. And these pigeons have nothing to lose because they're just being idiots.
Yep.
So
You're
it's
right.
too bad. Too bad.
All right, something to chew on coming up. Best bets as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. FanDuel's Sportsbook app is the exclusive home of the OverDrive same-game parlay. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. I'm on the Jets' money line tonight. I'm going to parlay that with laying the points on the Broncos. It's a big number, 7.5. But I think the Broncos roll tonight over Cincy. And again, the Jets, I think they win. I think they go into Miami. I think this could be the end of really a lot of Dolphins, hierarchy and the coach. And
you think
Mike
the coach is going to
McDaniel
get the gate? Like, do you think he's getting the gate soon? They won't do it mid-season, right?
They generally don't, but this one hurts. If the 0-3 Jets come into town and beat you, which I think they will, I just think you got Aaron Glenn, you got Justin Fields, you got more people in New York that are like, okay, new lease on life. Let's get going here. Where in Miami, it's just, more like woe is me. We stink. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So there's your best bets for tonight, powered by FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is the exclusive home, again, of the OverDrive same-game parlay. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. So the Jays, I don't know, are they still partying, you think?
They should.
Their chance?
I would imagine they probably had today off, maybe even tomorrow, and then they get back to little workout, get back into it type of thing. Like, give him a couple days off, let the dust settle. Obviously, you're going to have to watch who you're going to play or start your pre-scout, all of that type of stuff. Like, guys are pros about it, and the job's not finished. You kind of, it's the big first step, but you should enjoy it. I would imagine a lot of them, if they do drink, some of them, they would have woken up hungover today, and rightfully so.
Yeah, today's your free pass day. And then the next time is if you win the ALDS. And you have some time off between the CS and then the CS. And if you get to the World Series, and then if you win the ultimate prize, we all know what that's going to look like. But odds to win the American League, courtesy of FanDuel. Seattle's plus 200, and the Jays are in second. Jays are in second in terms of the odds to win the American League. Now, again, that's because they're sitting back pretty and they're waiting to see who's even going to make it. You don't know if the Yankees are going to make it, the Red Sox, if Detroit or Cleveland. Something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 15 or in 20 minutes or less. Fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I think we all know Shane Bieber, Kevin Gausman are pitching in the ALDS. Yeah. That is happening. If we know that is happening, who's your number 3 guy? We've been asking online. Trey Savage is running away with this.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I guess.
That's my vote. And here's what I wonder. Because of who you're going to play next, Game 3 is a massive swing game. It's a best 3 out of 5 in the ALDS. You're either going to play the Yankees or the Red Sox, and that game is going to be on the road, the first game on the road.
Right.
Will they pitch you Savage Game 2 and keep the veteran for Game 3 on the road? I'm curious about that. Because if it was if it was a 7-game series, you wouldn't, because you would line up Game 1 and 2 to try to pitch Game 6 and 7.
Right.
But you're not going to do that, right? Like, whoever pitches Game 1 will be available to pitch Game 5. Whoever pitches Game 2 could pitch parts of Game 5 on short rest. That is something that has to be considered for sure.
Right.
But, we know Bassett. We know Bassett's on the IL. We know Scherzer's really been struggling. Savage is young, man. He's had, what does he have, 3 career starts? He looked great on Saturday.
Yeah.
His credit, he was outstanding.
Do you want him in like a big game, like
that's what
a pivotal
I'm saying.
game?
Pivotal Game
starts?
3 at Yankee Stadium? Man, that's a tough ask for a young guy.
What about Scherzer? Like, would you just take your, not roll the dice, but this guy he's been there, he's done everything. Like, would you just think that the old guy could get one? You could get one big start out of him.
What's amazing is the last time these guys were in the playoffs was the infamous Barrios to Kikuchi screw up. And that's what it was. They should have left Barrios in there. And they went to Kikuchi because they had gone through the order and they had mapped it out at dinner the night before. And there's no other explanation for it. That's what they did. This is the ultimate gut instinct play.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to go to Scherzer, you're doing it because he's the old guy. He's the guy.
Veteran.
We always use the term, we always use Major League as an example, right? We apply the movie Major League. Ed Harris, the old guy Ed Harris got the ball, right? Send out Ed Harris for the big game because he was the guy. Can you give me 6 tonight? Well, maybe I can give you 5, and I'll do everything I can to get through. The lights are not going to be too bright for Scherzer. They're just not. Yankee Stadium, Fenway. But can he pitch anymore? He's just been torched, man, the last few outings.
Well,
handful outings. He's really been hit hard.
Would they go through some simulations this week where he does like a game simulation where they see if he's got some stuff? Like I would think that they would be mapping what he's pitching, how hard he's pitching, his placement, all of that type of stuff. Like, maybe it's a gut instinct where they like what they see this week during practice, or they don't. And they go, hey, he just doesn't have it anymore. Like, that's the type of stuff where, again, they get paid a lot of money to make these decisions. But I don't rule him out based on what he's done in his career at a certain time. That's where I'm at. I don't rule him out.
I hear you. And that's the ultimate. It's the ultimate gut check, man. It's the ultimate. What does your gut tell you? Do you go to Scherzer? Do you go to Bassett, who has not been good on the road? His splits have been awful on the road this year. And he's coming off the IL. Do you go to your Savage, who has not faced the Yankees or the Red Sox? And he's got that funky delivery, and he's a kid. Like, your Savage is going to factor in here in some way. He's pitching. And I think you need 4 starters in the DS. So, your Savage will be one of the games. But Game 3 is pivotal. It's on the road, Yankee Stadium or Fenway. Like, it would be different if it was anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're going to Cleveland, it's different. You go to Minnesota, it's different. Yankee Stadium or Fenway. Man. Yankee Stadium, pivotal game, Aaron Judge up to the plate. Man, that's tough to ask. But if he's a big leaguer, he's a big leaguer.
It's true.
We're going to find out soon. We'll find out
you're
soon.
Right. Can't wait, though.
Cannot wait
I'm
for
excited.
it. Congrats to the Jays. Put some respect on their name. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.